Welcome to Stache Sports, episode 16. Wow, what a game last night. It was back and forth until the very end. Miami, looking like they were done, had one last drive in them and scored at 12 seconds left by a Carson and Beck touchdown run. I wonder if the Georgia Bulldog fans are missing him now because he used to be a Georgia Bulldog, but he transferred to go play in Miami. And Georgia is not in the play, and Georgia lost to Ole Miss. But anyway, that was a heck of a game last night. That quarterback for Ole Miss definitely showed he belongs, and probably even might have made his draft stock go higher if he decides to go into the NFL draft this year. Even Carson Beck's draft stock might have gone higher from that game too. But Miami showed, after being let out of the playoffs for all those weeks until the very end and jumping out over Notre Dame, Miami showed that they belong in the playoffs last night after winning a good one, 31-27 against Ole Miss. And Ole Miss looked really good, even though they didn't have their head coach, Lane Kiffin, who went to go coach LSU. But I think Pete Goldberg should be their coach in the future, even if after this performance. And I think the quarterback for Ole Miss has really made a name for himself in these playoffs. I don't know, he might have been good. He was pretty good in the regular season, only lead him to one loss before this. But I think he's really stepped up and shown himself more in these playoffs than he has in the other games. Also, Carson Beck was with Georgia in previous years, like I said before, and he's in the College Football National Championship game after transferring from Georgia to Miami. He took Miami 1 year to the College Football National Championship game, even though he lost 2 games in the ACC, which is surprising. But he's in a championship game because it doesn't matter how you start the season. It just matters how you end the season, and Miami's really hot right now. And we'll be either facing the winner of Indiana or Oregon tonight in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Also last night during the College Football Championship game, the Pittsburgh Penguins played last night. I wasn't really watching it because I was watching the College Football Championship game, but I kept my eyes on the score. And finally, Erik Karlsson finally had a goal. Erik Karlsson is looking a lot better this year, in my opinion, because last year and the other year when he got traded, I didn't think he looked good at first, but then he went on a really warm streak and didn't look all that good and looked like it might have been a bust of a trade. But now he's looking a lot better. Evgeny Malkin finally came out and scored. And Evgeny Malkin has been injured. So glad to have Malkin back. He's been sorely missed. I bet Crosby's glad to have his best friend back in Malkin. And he scored. Connor Dewar has scored too. And Dewar is looking a lot better this year. And looking like a good addition for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And so is Blake Lizotte, who scored the final goal, making it 4-1 against the Devils. Now the Penguins are on a 6-game winning streak, which is good. They are getting much needed points in the standings to help them try to help them later on in the season when they're fighting for a playoff spot. But at least right now they're winning the games that they need to. They needed to beat the Devils because the Devils came off a big loss and the Devils aren't looking that good this year. So the Penguins need to beat teams like that if they want to be taken seriously in the hockey by all these local experts and national experts. Because earlier on in the season, most of these national experts I've been listening to wanted the Penguins to sting and try to get the guy from Penn State, McDavitt, the guy from Penn State in the first round. But in hockey, it's a lottery draft, so you don't know if you're going to get the number one pick, even if you do sting. So I'm glad the Penguins are looking better. Even last night, some of these local experts on the local sports shows were talking about how the Penguins looking like they're on the fringe of being a playoff team or being maybe one of the last teams in, which is good. It's only the beginning. It's not even there in the middle of the season, and that's good. They're changing their tune about the Penguins. Even at the beginning of the season, like I said, they wanted the Penguins to sting. After watching last night's game and the Miami Hurricanes and that thrill of a game when Miami and Ole Miss kept coming back and forth, tonight we get the Oregon Ducks and the Indiana Hoosiers. Earlier on this year, the Oregon Ducks and the Indiana Hoosiers played each other in a game, and the Indiana won by 10 points. Indiana's coming off a big blowout win against the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Alabama is always a team that's always in the college football playoffs every year. No matter if they have 1 loss, 2 losses, or even this year 3 losses, they somehow find a way to be in the playoffs. But Indiana decided to crush them and send them home packing. But Oregon also played a really unexciting game against the Texas Tech Red Raiders and crushed them too. So we'll see what happens tonight. I hope it's a close game like it was last night. And it comes down to the last couple of minutes of the game. But you got to give Indiana all the credit. I think Indiana might be America's team this year that they're rooting for because of the story of how Kirsten came to Indiana after 2 years, could have gone to maybe Alabama if he had the option because Alabama was looking for a coach too, but decided to come to Indiana and doesn't have that many 5-star recruits on his team, but has turned his team around in 2 years and is undefeated and is 1 game away from going to the college football national championship game downtown Miami. But Oregon is looking to play spoiler alert and try to spoil everybody's love affair of the Indiana Hoosiers this year. I'm picking the Indiana Hoosiers in a close game to win. I'm picking the Indiana Hoosiers in a close game to win. Like last night, I think it comes down to the last couple of plays of the game to decide who wins. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like it was the previous 2 games for these previous 2 teams. But who knows? That's why we watch the games and find out. But the Indiana Hoosiers are going to go. The Hoosiers or the Oregon Ducks are going to go face the Miami Hurricanes, who were the last team put into the college football playoffs, and who jumped over Notre Dame and had all these Notre Dame fans crying. But now Miami is going to go play in the college football championship game, which is interesting. I wonder, I got to do research on this later, but I wonder how many teams have played a college football championship game in their home stadium. Because most of the time they try to put these college football championship games in neutral site stadiums, so the team can't have a home field advantage. But the Miami Hurricanes do not have a stadium at Miami, and they use the Miami Dolphins Stadium. And that's where the college football championship game will be, not this Monday, but next Monday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. There'll probably be a lot of Miami fans there, or there might be more Indiana and Oregon fans, depending on who wins tonight. Last night, I think there was more Ole Miss fans there than there were Miami fans, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. That was a good game last night, coming down to the last minute. I think that the game last night helped Trinidad Chambers draft stock go up a lot. I would not be surprised if the Steelers maybe use a second round or later round pick on him and try to have someone learn underneath him or get another good receiver. Also, Carson Beck, I think his draft stock shot up too. Because besides the Oregon quarterback, Alabama's quarterback, and Indiana's, I don't know how many good quarterbacks there are this year. So their draft stock probably stocked up after that for a little game. Trinidad looked like he belonged. He definitely made me think that he could be a good pro quarterback after these few games of watching him play. After not watching that many much Ole Miss games, but the few in the college football playoffs. Miami's Carson Beck transferred from Georgia last year, and Georgia's always a team that's always in the playoff hunt. But he took Miami after 1 year and making them a playoff team, and now he's taking them all the way to the college football championship game, and it's 1 game away from living his dream of being a college football national champion. But we will see what happens. As of tonight's game, as I said before, I think the Indiana Hoosiers win tonight. I think their team's just too complete of a team to not win tonight, and I think they have a all-around team to win tonight. I think it's going to be a close game and come down to the last minute or last couple of drives, but I think Indiana wins because they're a well better. I just think they have a chip on their shoulder, and their team's just playing a lot better right now than the other teams. But we will see what happens tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins' next game is on Saturday, which is tomorrow, against the Clydesdale Flames. Also, in tomorrow's episode, we'll talk about round 1 of the NFL playoffs. Tomorrow's games are between the Packers and Bears. And I think the Rams and 49ers. Or Rams and Panthers, but maybe that's Sunday, I don't remember. Got all excited there. But anyway, tomorrow's episode we'll be talking about the NFL playoffs. We'll be talking about the Indiana Hoosiers game. And we'll be talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins' upcoming matchup against the Category Flames. Against the Category Flames. But as I said, I think Indiana wins tonight. And it's going to be a good game between Indiana and Miami, if that's who it is, or Oregon and Miami. I just hope it's a good game tonight. But Stache Sports signing off. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Please leave them below in the comments. And please let me know what I can talk more about. Later this week, we're talking about the Jaguars too, and the playoff games on Sunday, and especially Monday Night Football when the Steelers play the Houston Texans. But thank you for watching my videos, as always, and please leave comments and share and like.